Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Central Institute Christmas Edition podcast. I'm here today with Doug Hood, worship leader at Central Ministries. Doug, I don't feel like you really need an introduction, but for those who may not know a lot about you, they just see you on Sunday morning. Could you share with us a little bit about yourself, your family, and maybe even what you do when you're not behind the keys?
Sure. Well, family, 5 kids, and now 4 grandkids, so that's cool. 2 dogs, big dog, little dog. So there's always something going on at our house. During the week, what people might not know is before the wonderful virus world that we're in now, I traveled a lot.
Right.
So I travel actually coast to coast, helping churches do sound and video and lighting and acoustics and things like this, streaming and broadcasting. And so there are a lot of times where I would, literally lead worship on Sunday, get on a plane Sunday afternoon and come back Saturday night and then, do it all again. Not every week, thankfully. But yeah, I travel a lot and help churches all across the country. Yep.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy traveler for sure.
Yep, love it, yeah.
Yeah. Could you share with us a Christmas tradition from your home?
From our home, interesting. Probably we have that little thing, and I don't know what it's called, the little thing where is it the Advent calendar where like every day in Christmas you pull a little thing out of it or open a little door?
Yeah.
I remember that. We've just always had that on our door, and just kind of coming and going, you would kind of, tick off the next box of that, and you would kind of see the progression of Christmas coming.
Okay.
That's one. We usually open one Christmas present Christmas Eve after the central church service, which I know we're going to talk about. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if there's anything real specific. Just lots of little ones, those going down to Coney Island, seeing the Santa Claus display. Yeah, good things.
Okay. That's always fun to hear a little bit about what people do with their families. You're going to share with us today a favorite Christmas carol. What are you going to share about, Doug?
Yeah, Silent Night. So when I talk about, or when you ask about the Christmas tradition,
Right.
I think one of the longest ones, certainly for me involved in Central, is this song, Silent Night.
Right.
And so every year, that's how we end the service. So I wanted to share the kind of the origins of that song. So in 1818, so 202 years ago, there's a pastor in Austria, and he's walking home from church one night. Actually, it's December 23rd, so the Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve, this pastor is walking home. He's going up a hill. He turns around and looks down at his city in Austria. This is December. Looks down at his little village, and he sees the snow. He sees the candlelight. Again, 1818. There's no electric, right? So everything's candles. And he just looks down at the village, and he just sees his town at peace. Just a scene of peace. And it reminds him that he had written a poem a couple years earlier, and he thought, "Oh man, I wonder if I could turn that poem into a song." So he just has lyrics. He goes to the church. He meets with his organist, who's also the choir director. And he says, "Hey, I got this poem. Could we make this a song? Could we sing it Christmas Eve, which is tomorrow? So no pressure. But let's take this
Get
poem.
it ready.
Yeah, let's make this song and sing it tomorrow." So he goes to the choir director. Tiny little problem. The organ is broke.
Oh.
So now, if you remember back to 1818, how important the organ was.
Right.
So the organ was everything. And I think it's funny that don't things break just when we need them the most? Here we are, Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Christmas Eve, the biggest service of the year. They're going to have a midnight service, and they're going to have tons of people show up. And the organ is broke. And there's people that speculate why the organ was broke. Some people say it was mice that got in there. Some people say it was flooded. Some people say it was rusty or mildew. Some people even say the organist broke it himself, which is interesting. But whatever the reason was, the organ's broke. And in that day, again, the organ is everything. The organ is the sound system. The organ is the band. There's no cameras. There's no watching it online. You have to get to the church and be in that room, and that's it. So with that being said, he says, well, could we write it for guitar? could we take this thing, and if we do it on guitar, it's got to be simple. We got to be able to learn it quick. It's got to be easy to sing, and we can do it for guitar. And so that's what they did. And most people don't know that when they originally wrote it, it was fast. So imagine singing. Imagine singing it fast, right?
Yeah.
It was originally up tempo, like a dance tune for the day, and over time it kind of evolved into more of like a lullaby, which we sing today.
Yeah, we sure do.
And so that is, that whole evolution, that whole story is what we now know as Silent Night.
Silent Night.
Yeah. 202 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I have many memories because our family's been at Central for many years now. Many memories of you and your family up on stage on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Like, we just look for you. Where are the Hoods? We can't wait to see them because that's part of our Christmas Eve tradition is seeing all y'all up there. You want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Well, I was not alive in 1818.
Right.
I'm not quite that old. But as long as I can remember, which I was trying to figure out yesterday, how many years that would be. It's at least 30.
Right.
I don't know that it's been 30 that I've been leading that service, but at least 30 years in a row that for me it's the same thing as you.
Yeah.
It's Christmas Eve at Central.
Yeah.
And I remember we used to have a midnight service, like this
I
church in
remember.
Austria.
Yes.
Yeah, it used to be, used to have midnight service. Parents used to bring kids in
Sleepy
pajamas.
kids.
Yep.
They sure did.
I remember one year somebody had the idea, well, maybe we could all wear pajamas, which would be an interesting idea. We won't comment on that, but I just remember that. Now, over the years, the service times have changed, and there's a whole bunch of them in different locations and different times for families, which is great. But the one thing that is constant is the candlelight.
Yes.
That at the end of the service, it's Silent Night, it's candlelight, and I love candles in general. I'm a big candle proponent. I love fire, flames, all that kind of stuff. But I think when you do candlelight at Christmas Eve at Central, it's just kind of extra special. And I don't know why. Maybe it's the tradition. Maybe it's the memories that are burned into our brains. But
I think so too.
it is special. And as special it is for all the people that are out there, I have an interesting vantage point. Because if you're out in the congregation, it's beautiful and it's gorgeous, and you sing the songs and you see the glow and all that stuff. But up on stage, I get to see faces.
Yeah.
And so I see that little flame, that little flicker flame,
Just lights up.
and it
people's
illuminates
face.
the faces, and
That's so
I get
cool.
to see the joy
Yeah.
and the countenance, and just see people's faces when God's presence is in the room. Man, it doesn't get any better than that. So I think I have the best seat in the house. And so to lead that song, and when we strip away the instruments, and by the end of it, it's just voices. So it's just voices. It's just candles. Man, it's a great memory. It's something I treasure. I remember years of my family in the front row and the church family all around.
Yeah.
And in those moments, I think about that pastor in Austria, that looked at his town and saw that peace, that heavenly peace.
Yeah.
And I see that, I see that in our congregation. And so in an age where we throw away music so fast, like every 6 months or a year, whatever the cool song of the day is, it gets thrown out, And I love that this song, 202 years old, is still alive and kicking.
Yeah.
And I hope that we can keep it going. So
I bet we will.
yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with our Central family while we have you for a second?
Oh yeah, I was thinking this morning about this, that organ breaking,
Yeah.
which I've had things like that happen to me, and I've had all kinds of weird things happen Sunday morning. I've had things blow up. We've had things blow up on Easter
I was
morning.
going to say, we had an Easter without power one year,
We
didn't
had
we?
no power. We literally had
Yes.
something catch on fire Easter morning, so I can relate
I
to all
remember.
that stuff. But I think maybe a lesson in there is sometimes what we think is the best, and it's taken from us. There's something that's even better just right on
Amen
the
to
other side of that.
Yeah.
So who knows what would have Silent Night sounded like if it was written on the organ? Maybe it would have been too complicated, and the melody would have been different, and it wouldn't have been as singable, and it wouldn't have caught on as much. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's the way that it was. That's the way that God had it planned.
That's the
So
way
I
He
think
had it
sometimes when the thing that we love either breaks or blows up or falls away or whatever, I think this is a good little reminder that something better just might be waiting for us.
I think that's a great lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for stopping in this
Sure,
morning.
yeah.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody out there is going to be, just glad to hear from you and hear some of your thoughts.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay.